It's Sunday, and you know what that means.
Movies,
music, and monsters.
Hey my friends, Dan Monroe here from Movies, Music, and Monsters with another Sunday Fun Day Q&A. Yeah, I know, it's been a while since I've done one of these. I've just been super busy with the channel, new videos, new topics, trying to grow bigger and better every single week. Thanks to all of you guys who, in my opinion, are not given enough credit by a lot of big YouTube channels for how important you are. Remember, if it weren't for you, there would be none of this. And I know it's crazy, but over 50% of people that watch this channel aren't subscribed. Do me a favor and click that little button real quick. It would really help the channel grow. I appreciate it. And by the way, if anybody happens to be in the Pittsburgh area on Saturday, June 21st, I'll be hanging out at this year's 2025 Monster Bash. Not as a guest, just as a fan, walking around, enjoying the show. Butch Patrick, Eddie Munster's going to be there, along with the kids from Land of the Lost. Should be a great time, so if you happen to see a nearly 7-foot-tall guy dressed like this walking around, make sure you stop and say hello. Okay, here we go. Robot, if you please.
Frederick von Dingerberg asks, Dan, have you ever met any of your movies, music, and monsters heroes? And if so, who are they?
Wow, great question. Yes, I've met a lot of people in the industry over the years. Not necessarily sure I would say heroes. I've never particularly been a starstruck person. I mean, to me, that title belongs to law enforcement, healthcare workers, and firemen. But that being said, let's see. Going back to the early 2000s, I was doing a toy show right here in upstate New York with my robot here, and June Lockhart was there, the mom from Lost in Space and Lassie, and a ton of other things. I wish I could say that my experience with her was grander than it was, but...
Yes, I remember. She yelled at us.
Yeah, well, kind of. Her table was literally right next to ours, and she was a bit unhappy that the robot here was, I guess, talking as loud as he was. Still, really cool to meet her, and hey, look at you, all shiny and restored with bright flashing lights. You even got all that stuff spinning around inside your head. How cool is that?
Well, thanks to the robot man, Fred Barton, I am now fully restored and functional again.
You know, he sent me the parts, but I was the one who actually installed everything over the last 2 months. Come on, that's got to count for something.
Like I said.
Anyway, getting back to the famous people thing, I got to have lunch with Gary Lockwood, the actor in the second Star Trek pilot with William Shatner. I got to meet Andy from WKRP in Cincinnati, who was sitting at the same table with Linda Harrison. That was super cool. Yeah, thinking back, I probably should have done that. And this is crazy. At the same convention, sitting right in the corner was David Prowse, Darth Vader, and I have no idea why. To this day, like an idiot, I never went over to get a picture with him or even an autograph, which was really quite stupid on my part. I did, however, get to meet Kenny Baker, R2-D2 from Star Wars, James Doohan, Scotty from Star Trek, and really cool to meet actor stuntman Dick Warlock, who played Michael Myers in Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2, not the Rob Zombie one or the other more recent one. It's really hard to keep track of all this Halloween stuff. Speaking of Michael Myers, I got to spend an entire evening, well, my wife and I did, hanging out personally with Tyler Mane, the guy who played Michael in the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. Such an awesome, cool guy. We had so much in common. We were both born the same year, the same month, and we're both 6'9" tall. I even made his very first website back in the day, if you can believe that. It's true. Obviously, my brother and I used to hang out quite a bit with the cast members of Lost in Space due to the book that he wrote in the early 1990s. Super cool people. Such a shame there's so few of them left. Bob May, the guy who was inside the robot, not the voice, that was Dick Tufeld, but the actor inside the bucket, as he would say, used to call me on Saturday mornings and just chat about nothing, whatever, anything, for hours.
Dan Monroe, this is Bob May. Give me a call, will you? Please. Thank you.
Super crazy, super fun. And then I was lucky enough, back in 1992, I think, to meet one of the Beatles. I was working as the manager of a men's department in this giant store here in upstate New York when one of the other managers came up to me and said, "Hey, you're into the Beatles, right?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And he said, "Well, there's one of them right down there walking up the aisle."
Bollocks.
No, it's true. And I looked down the aisle and saw a group of like 6 really big guys dressed all in black surrounding a little tiny guy in the middle who walked right up to me, and there he was, Ringo Starr, in town apparently for something. I assume maybe his all-star show. Got to shake his hand and say thanks for all the years of music, and then he just walked away.
Yeah? So where's the bloody photo?
Dude, this was the 1990s, and there were no phones with cameras on them, and I didn't happen to have a giant DSLR hanging around my neck at the time.
Well, next time, be prepared.
Summer is here, even in upstate western New York, where typically our summers last about 18 minutes, but it's beautiful, super fun to plant some new trees, drive around in the old 56 Caddy, and most importantly, just relax. And what better way to relax on a beautiful summer day than with your very own pair of Raycon everyday headphones. As you know, I never promote anything that I don't actually use. Pretty much every night after dinner, I'll take an hour to sit down and, listen to my favorite music or podcasts. And their latest model is even better than ever with a 40-hour battery life and a quick charge function, just 15 minutes of charging, and bingo, you're done. Super comfortable to wear, and this is my favorite part, the active noise cancellation feature. Super convenient when I'm relaxing and the wife is bugging me to take out the garbage. They even have a 30-day happiness guarantee return policy. Don't like them? No questions asked. Just send them back. So start your summer off right and go to buyraycon.com/Dan Monroe 15 to get 15% off Raycon's best-selling headphones. Link in the description to save on the most comfortable headphones you'll ever wear, and at just about half the price of the other premium audio brands. I also got to stand right next to the original Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet. No, not the replica that we saw in all the TV shows in the 80s and 90s. This was the real freaking deal. Super cool. When I was doing my music stuff, I met and performed alongside George Jones, Conway Twitty, Burton Cummings of the Guess Who. Fun memories, but I'm certainly glad I am not doing that anymore, I can tell you.
A little too stressful on your system, baby girl?
No, a little too much wine, women, and song, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I got to spend an entire day with portions of the original 1960s Lost in Space upper flight deck, which was really kind of awesome. One night, after a Kiss concert about 10 years ago. My wife and I were sitting at the bar in the hotel where the members of KISS were staying, and I got to sit next to and have a really great chat with Tommy Thayer, the guy who took over for Ace Frehley. Kind of fun. Then, about 15 minutes later, Paul Stanley went walking by. Like I said, I'm not really a starstruck person. The show was over. He looked tired, so I turned to ask my wife if she saw him, and of course, woo, she was gone, racing towards the elevator to meet Paul Stanley, and I guess that's pretty much it as far as I can remember. This answer has gone on way too long anyway, but none of those people, and this is the truth, are to me as cool as meeting you guys. Getting opportunities to meet and chat with all of you at conventions or personal appearances. So, in short, if I did have any real heroes, it would be all of you guys. Okay, Robot, let's have another.
Paul and Linda from Cincinnati ask, we've noticed in some of your photos of your office, you have some really cool stuff at your workstation. Any interesting stories on any of those collectibles?
Not any really cool stories per se, just a lot of really super cool stuff. I like to keep things around me that not only remind me of my childhood and keep me feeling young, but also inspire me to make new and better content for all of you guys. This guy right here is a Hot Toys Empire Strikes Back Vader with removable helmet. Really cool. He even lights up if you stick batteries in him. I found it locally on a Facebook marketplace for a song, so that was lucky. This is my Beneath the Planet of the Apes Alpha Omega bomb. The bomb itself was sent to me unfinished, so there was a lot of detailing to put on it to get it right, including the super cool Alpha Omega decals on the fin. The base, interestingly enough, was originally the base of the Dr. Zaius Adar model, which I added custom controls and lights to. Really love this piece. My Martian War Machine from War of the Worlds actually came from a friend of mine at Block 4 Studios, a gift to me that I really cherish because I didn't have one, and I just thought it was awesome. My vintage audio streaming service, including DAT, cassette, compact disc, and, in my opinion, the only way to listen to real audio, my reel-to-reel tape deck. Sorry, vinyl enthusiasts, I just never cared for all the pops and the scratches. Other than that, my office is literally filled with hundreds and hundreds of pieces of my childhood scattered all over the place. And note to self, convince the wife that we need a bigger house, and hopefully I answered your question. Okay, Robot, I think we've got time for one more.
Kenan Smith asks, Dan, love the songs you put up. Is there anywhere online to listen to your original music?
Funny you should ask. I'm actually right in the middle of going back, like way back to a lot of the old original music that I made in the early 2000s and remastering the songs to make them, I guess, I don't know, sonically more today. And when I get that done, probably 15 or 20 songs, I'll upload all of them to my online store for you guys to download for the once-in-a-lifetime price of only zero, nada, nothing. I'll just put a link available, and if you want to download them and enjoy them, that would be a lot of fun. Honestly, that was 8 lifetimes ago, and I don't really think about it much anymore, but I am humbled and honored that you would ask, so yeah, that's coming. Stay tuned.
And if you want a really good time, check out my latest single, The Ballad of the Bubble-Headed Booby.
Well, as always, that was certainly a lot of fun, but time to get back to work on some super cool upcoming videos. And don't forget, if you like this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing to the channel. I've got a whole bunch of new videos coming up really soon that I know you guys are just gonna dig.
And if you'd like to help support the channel, you can always buy us a coffee. Link in the description.
And please feel free to stop back anytime as we together continue the conversation on movies, music, and monsters. Sci-fi and outer space fans unite as the Space Museum and Grissom Center present Show Me Space Sci-Fi. Saturday, June 28th, 2025. Meet in person your favorite classic sci-fi robots. Enjoy special guests Dan Monroe from YouTube's Movies, Music, and Monsters, Space Shuttle astronaut Dr. Tom Jones, and more. Watch out for stormtroopers with the 70th Explorers Garrison. Blast off with incredible sci-fi model building and costume contests. Tour the Space Museum, get in on the door prizes, and blast off into excitement. Get your tickets now at eventbrite.com or visit space-mo.org for more information. Don't get lost in space. Join us one day only, Saturday, June 28th at the Space Museum and Grissom Center to enjoy the ultimate celebration of the most iconic sci-fi universes that have captured our imaginations for generations.
Movies,
music, and monsters.